travel from one area to fill in a pothole in another area. I got citizens doing repairs.
Meyer.
Nice to have family in order as well. Good.
Oh, house.
Fly to Portland yesterday, and we had to fly through Vegas. And my wife, like, we're gonna get stuck in Vegas. There'll be a million people there. Jeannie Butcher just got COVID. And she went up to Chicago. You know, and she got right. My wife nervous.
Bless you. Goodman, ready when you are. Good evening and welcome to the August 22nd Ferguson City Council. Let us stand for our opening ceremony. Meeting is now called to order. We will have a solid prayer to the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Pippen, could you please call the roll? Here.
Ashby. Councilwoman Robinette.
Here.
Councilwoman Lipka. Here. Councilwoman Nelson. Here. Mayor Jones.
Here, a quorum is present. At this time, we will open up with our public comments. We ask that everyone please come to the podium, speak into the microphone, give us your name, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Clerk Pittman, do we have anyone for public comments tonight?
We do, and I apologize in advance if I butcher this name, but the first one is Stanley. Thank you.
I live at 8248 Elephant Drive, Ward 3. And I'm here to ask about the property at 8254 Elephant Drive. For 6 years, I've had to look at it, and now it's becoming a public health and safety issue. There's nothing but people hiding in the vegetation in the back because it's so high, and the animals that come out of the house, it's disgusting. And I keep coming down here to City Hall, complain about it, nothing happens, and it gets worse and worse every year. So I'd kind of like to understand what's gonna go on with this house. I just saw on TV when Elliot Davis was here, 30 days, he's getting one tore down. It didn't look as bad as this one. And people are dumping stuff in the front yard now, and it's in the street, blocking the water that backs up in everybody's basement when it rains too hard. So that's, I guess, what I'm here to complain about. I just don't know where else to go. Like I said, I come here to the public works, nothing's done. The grass ain't been cut, and it's been like this for 6 years. So, I mean, re-election time, people come around and they see it, and we're gonna hit, Mayor, you were there not too long ago. And it looks worse than it did when you were by.
Is it a vacant?
Pardon me?
It is.
Yes, it is. Burnt out house.
Burnt down.
Yes, it was boarded up at one time, but now people have tore the boards off and they go in and out.
Mhm.
And I've had to call the police a couple times, and nothing bad about the police officers here. But they won't even go in the backyard, and I don't blame them, and they won't go in the house. And who knows, somebody could be laying in there dead, we'll never know, but it's terrible. And I don't think I should have to live next to it, and I don't think anybody up, sitting up here would live next to it. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Mayor?
Mhm. Yes,
Thank you.
I've seen it. Okay.
And it's just getting worse.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Miller?
Good evening, Alan Ward. Reauthorization of the conflict of interest ordinance, Bill 7259, is again on tonight's agenda. I encourage it to be passed. The conflict of interest ordinance has been the subject of many people's public comments. It is an extremely important issue, yet difficult to define and encompass in a bit of legislation. This ordinance is a start. Unfortunately, there is much that it does not address. The council's actions regarding 975 South Florissant at last month's meeting provides a good example. At my last count, Mr. Palmer owns 101 properties in Ferguson. They are not scattered about. His acquisitions have been extremely strategic. Mr. Palmer owns 2/3 of the block where 975 South Florissant sits. His property appears heated in only the entire block north of the high school between Florissant Road and Ellsworth Place. Directly across the street, he also owns almost all of the 2 large blocks extending from the BP station to Ruggles Road. Together, Mr. Palmer has monopoly on all properties at the south gateway to our city. Since Mr. Palmer does not own 975, for provisions of the ordinance, he does not technically have a conflict of interest when voting on the future of his property. The fate of 975, however, unquestionably will have a huge impact on his future plans. What is the true impact then when Mr. Palmer amended the bill, placing a unique burden on the building's owners? Mold abatement and health standards of the jurisdiction of St. Louis County Public Health. Every daycare center must comply with their requirements. How does Mr. Palmer's amendments, singling out this one building, affect the building owner's ability to lease the building? How does the amendment affect the building's value? And how does the unique requirement open the city to potential legal action? This is one example of why so many of us are asking the provisions of the bill be expanded and strengthened. And this is not hate speech. I hold no malice against Mr. Palmer and wish him well. On a different subject, my public comments at the May council meeting began from frequent apologies you make in the dais. It is apparent that you understand that there is a problem. Here are some simple effective fixes. You can dramatically reduce your stress, one, by being forthright about whether or not the council is unanimous when deciding procedures to choose the city manager. Two, by actually listening to the public opinions expressed in town halls, rather than dismissing the meetings as irrelevant means of placating public unrest, as one of your Facebook posts stated. And three, by recognizing that it was actually public opinions and research that saved you from the horrible mistakes of hiring a casino security guard and an accused felon. Any of these would have made your lives easier and helped build community trust rather than further eroding that trust. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mueller.
Adrian
Miller.
Shropshire?
Adrian.
Hello.
Hi. I had to write your name down.
No town hall meeting. That's the only actual road you say that we have towards any office in our city for the town hall. When it comes to city council, we have town halls. I'm not gonna waste much time on it. That's the only say we really have. And, voting. Those are the only two. And now we're down to one. I don't understand. But I hope whatever your decision is right for our city. Now I want to move on to the, power shop. I'm very disappointed in how this power shop took off. There were no inspections on the wells. Power shop across from the, chambers of the nursing home.
Oh.
They were working on Saturday while they were in business. They finished it out. And I'm saying, so if something were to happen, we're liable because the proper inspections weren't done. With welding, they were welding at night with lights. But we let this go. And let's hope that everything they did is right. We saw no site plans or planning and zoning. We saw no mechanical drawings. We saw no working on this structure. And it's $250,000. Shield's $500,000 worth of it. But there was nothing done to try to stop this. We can't let this go on in our city. We can't just let people come here and do it when they want to. After hours and during hours, on Saturday morning, they were changing tires and they were putting the roof on the daggone canyon. We have to do better. More report. Well, last time we were here, I said, well, let me go talk to a master abatement person. Mold stays to itself unless it's messed with. People put bleach, people try all that other stuff, that activates. Borax is the common denominator for mold. What it does, it dissolves. And then it makes it, it dissolves it and takes away the spurs that come out. I talked to the guy, you said I'm talking about now. Excuse me. And that was his solution. He said, because you'll never get it down, and I'll close, Mayor. You'll never be able to get the mold level or below the outside, because once you open the door, it's back to where it was. So I'm asking you to be a little bit lenient. Let the inspectors, let the state come in. There'll be things going, they'll have to pass all kind of tests before that building. But I think we need to stay in our lane, be the council, be supportive of businesses. And I know mold is important, but there are standards that they're going to have to go through to be able to open a daycare. And something else, when we start taking on buildings like that, let's make sure we add a mention to cut the grass. We want to make sure that these people are going to do right, make sure they cut the grass in front of the building that they're doing business in, that they're in there working now. It's horrible. Thank you, Council.
Before you leave, you were saying that you are on planning and zoning and you have not seen site plans, working drawings, or what else?
Or any kind of, we saw no working drawings, no structural things.
Structural, that's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Erica Brooks.
Good evening. We're just follow up on some things that I've been asking about in the other meetings. One is, here's the date when they're gonna start doing the South Day. I saw some lines being put down or whatever, but I know when you all first presented it, you said mid-summer is supposed to be in full, but things are supposed to be going on and everything, and it's still quiet around there. So I just want to find out basically when is it gonna actually start? And I mean, they start putting down lines, but they stop pretty much at tipping. You have it going all the way down the street to map out what's going on. So I'm just trying to find out if the funds are still there to be used to make the street happen or what. And then also I want to find out the update as far as the replacement of potholes on the street when this first started. And I want to also get an update as to what's going on with the redistricting process in Ferguson. Where is it? Where is the mapping process? I mean, is the map going off to the St. Louis County Board of Elections? Is it still here in Ferguson? I mean, I don't understand how the whole country, the whole state And various municipalities have gone through the process of redistricting in Ferguson, can't make theirs happen. I'm not sure about what's going on or what the purpose of the holdup is. But I'm just trying to find out where it's at, because we know we have various elections, like I said before, that are dependent on the redistricting process to know where our voters are at. And so the different people that are candidates, it's only fair for them to know where their voters are at before the election is over with or have even began. Like I said, that's mainly it, but also when it comes down to the cutting of the lots, city lots, when they cut the grass, but then the curb side, they let the weeds grow, just continue to grow high along the edge of the curb. I don't understand that. I mean, you cut a whole lot, but why not the curb side as well? And then also, I want to follow up with, I had a meeting with Corey about, cutting the lot, the weeds and the trees, not weeds, the trees at 458 Mueller. Because as of right now, trees, they used to be by the houses in their respective places. Now they're actually coming all the way to the center of the lot and also in my yard. So I'm trying to find out, when can follow up with that, make sure that that's happening. But like I said, we had a good conversation, but I want to know when that's going to happen. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks.
Chapman.
Okay. Thus, in public comments, we ask that the staff will look at your comments and work with the city manager to get them resolved. Thank you. Our next item on the agenda is the manager's report. Interim City Manager Hampton, could you please give us your report?
Yes, Mayor and Council, it's a pleasure being here in front of everyone tonight. First off, I'd like to start off with saying the fire department is now an ALS department, which is advanced life support.
Oh, awesome.
Yes. Then we're gonna have updates by Rachel St. Pierre from Community Development, and then Public Works, Corey will give an update, and then Chief Doyle. So we'll start off with Rachel.
Evening, everybody. How are you all?
Good evening.
Thank you for having me tonight. So this is my first major update for everybody. I've been here for about 4 months. Sometimes it feels longer and sometimes I have to remind myself that I'm not there yet. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that we're doing and looking forward to and want to do. So first up, you guys have already noticed that we've cleaned house in that office and have put the carpet down and got new cubicles. So we're doing a soft remodel of the painting walls, making things look good again. And adding some more desk space. That way all of the people in this department can be all together. We are also working on the reorganization and the rebranding of the department. For example, people don't really understand that community development covers development, construction, economics, planning, zoning, outreach, code enforcement, and anything else you want to throw in there. So making sure that people are aware that they can come to any of us on this team and we can cover all of those things. And then we've got rid of some of the items that the code enforcement officers were wearing, like the badges, the body cam, and the bulletproof vest. We are working on bringing everybody together, and I would really hope to have everybody in the same room come Christmas time. We've had 3 training sessions so far, and they are all working on their ICC certifications to have those by December as well. For outreach, several of you have been at the events or at the cleanups that we've done. I've tried to meet with at least every organization once. I've been to the Landmark Century meeting once now, and the Special Business District as well. For more on the landmarks, they do have the Century Awards coming up, and then the Special Business District has the Music Festival coming up. The other projects that we worked on have been Juneteenth, the July Award cleanup, and then the yard sale that's coming up. Technology wise, we're working on transferring everything into OpenGov. OpenGov, now that I know how to work it, makes sense and is very easy. So having all of our data in one platform, easily run reports, easily take payments, easily give updates, that can be amazing. For business development, we have just issued a survey today to get some feedback from the businesses that are here. And we've developed a list of all of the businesses in Ferguson that are current on their business license. I'm also working on a study of the downtown tip, the CID and the SBT, sorry, to figure out how to utilize those funds in the best way possible and get new businesses here, old businesses fixed up, and have everybody happy. Land banking, we're working on generating a list of city-owned properties. And I think the end game of that is hopefully to offload some of that property that the city owns. There's no reason for us to be in real estate. And then also working on the adjacent side lot and the property restoration programs. There's some unclear instructions on that we need to work through. For economic development, during the winter, we're gonna be working on the Bigwood property registry and the dangerous building listings. And the dangerous buildings, we've already started with 1511 Starlight. And that process is going to be the same exact process that you're going to see on a lot of other properties. We're also working on a list of currently available properties, not necessarily from the city, but from any Jim, Bob, and Joe that might be out there. And also we have completed an apartment manager listing, so that way when people come to us looking for resources for homes in the area, we can also send them that. Planning and zoning has had 3 meetings. You've seen almost all of their items. And our next meeting is in September. We're going to be working through the code revision and Board of Adjustment. You haven't quite seen all of their items because they don't have to come to you, but we've had 4 meetings as well. And I believe there is really only one approval of a variance request. For code enforcement, in the last 3 months, we've done 1,594 violations. And that includes weeds, junk, trash, and debris. We've completed 789 inspections. We've entered 939 permits, and we have reviewed 305 drawings and applications. So our idea going forward is to kind of get the department up to speed and on the same page. Everybody thinking the same way, in the same mindset, making sure that we're sticking to the comprehensive plan and listening to the people and making Ferguson better, but also keeping in mind that Ferguson has a long ways to grow and it doesn't have to.
Thank you. Any questions? Councilman Ashby.
Great progress and great update. Are you going to start publishing a list? It'd be great to see a dashboard of the, you mentioned 1594 violations and then 789 inspections completed. Is that something that's going to be in a dashboard format so we can track that over time?
Amount of violations and has pinpointed the main cases or the gathering of those cases. So we kind of know where the problems are.
And can you, I mean, is it possible to bundle those? Like, because, you know, one of the things we hear over and over again is this vacant lot's not getting cut. And obviously we're doing the best we can, but is it possible to look at code violations by occupied properties versus unoccupied properties, for example? And, you know, code violations that were, you know, not cutting their weeds versus building maintenance. Are you going to be able to slice and dice it at some point? And not necessarily now, but down the road?
Yeah, so right now, at this moment, we don't have a way to differentiate from vacant and occupied. I think that it could be developed. And then as far as the different types of code enforcements that already exist in our field, when we have to fill out these code enforcement violations, we have the drop down menu and figure out what violations it is, or if it's multiple violations, pick several of them. So we do, there is the option to search by violation.
Fantastic, great progress.
Thank you. Councilwoman Lipka.
So again, thank you for the update. You said you got rid of the badges, body cams, and bulletproof vests. You know, I get it to some extent, but the bulletproof vests to me were very important because, and I would like to ask if we could at least keep them in the car in case they need them, because I know I've witnessed some very volatile situations that involve city inspectors. So I was just wondering is there a particular reason we're not using those things? Or is there a possibility of at least keeping them nearby in case they do need
Yeah,
it?
I can answer some of that as
Okay.
well. So, I've always thought it was a bad idea for code enforcement to come up with a body cam. It's a wrong image.
Okay.
It's supposed to be about education first.
Mhm.
So if we have a situation where there is potential bad stuff, we're gonna have a police officer with us. And that's where a police officer will make contact. So, but if code enforcement comes up with a bulletproof vest on, it's in the wrong image. That's not what we want to do around
Well, are they wearing them on the outside or on the inside?
here. They're outside.
Oh,
but-
because I mean, I know when I see the officers, they're always in blue and or white and you don't see anything, but when you hug them, you know it's there. So,
I'm sorry, it wasn't inside. My bad.
okay, so I would just say,
You can tell.
okay, well, I will go on record saying that I think it's a good idea. It doesn't mean anybody has to listen to me, but that's where I stand on that. You also said certifications by December. Could you expand on that a little bit more for me?
Yeah, so the code council has a slew of certifications that you can get as an official. Anything from reading drawings to issuing permits to a fire marshal, to certified building official. There's all kinds of certifications. There's state specific ones. They are usually, and have you seen our code books? They're about this thick and usually there's like a stack of them. So it's an open book test for the most part. It usually takes like 3.5 hours to do. And the tests are difficult, so there's a good chance that people don't pass on the first time. And these guys have been given the opportunity in December, it would have been a year. And then we have given them the material that they need, the study guide, the practice exams, make sure that they have the membership, so that way they can get everything done before December.
Awesome.
And then my plan is to not just have them have this one certification, but as the years progress, they earn more certifications.
And my final question, you were saying that you created a survey that's going out to the businesses and you created the listing, which I know on FSBD, we appreciate that listing very much. And you said you were looking into the downtown TIF and STP, is that what you said? And the CBD, is that what you were saying?
The SPD, yes. that's what
SPD.
district- Yep, your revenue, and then the revenue for the CID over on Florissant by, Walmart, and then the downtown tip. Now, the downtown tip does require this. for most stuff.
Could you possibly send us an email that kind of recaps this? Or the one thing I didn't get a chance to jot down were all those amazing numbers of your inspections and drawings and stuff like that. So I'd really love to have that as a document. Thank you.
Councilwoman Nelson.
Rachel, could you go back through, it kind of went kind of fast on the information regarding Open Gov. I know you said transferring information, you finally got your handle on that. Do you have an ETA about when that'll be kind of up and going?
So we are working with the finance department right now to get the payment system integrated into OpenGov. And for the permitting side of it, that's what we're kind of looking for. For the code enforcement violations, for the Ward 3 brush pickup, for lead violations, people can use OpenGov now. And we've had some public input where somebody has said, this is too many screens, this doesn't make sense, there's a period here. So we've kind of condensed everything and proofread it 14 times to make sure that it's.
Okay. Anyone else has questions for our Community Development Director, Rachel St. Pierre? Any questions? Hear none? Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Rachel. My next will be Corey Gilbert from Public Works.
Good evening, council. Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
Project updates, South Dade Avenue, improvement project, construction start date, August 28th. Information will be, provided on the city website. This job should be completed by November. CDBG, funding project, structure in place, contractors in place, my contractor is the lowest bidder for this project. Our pre-construction meeting for this project is Wednesday, August 23rd. After people construction need not have proper slab replacement. That project will begin in Ward 1 of some of the eight. We'll start up north, Elkins, Atmore, Yes Camp, Woodland. From there, we go to Scatchel Woods subdivision. And then we go to Black Oaks. All those slabs are marked out, ready to go. So we're waiting on September 18th. I provided you guys with a spreadsheet. And on that spreadsheet is the overlay part of the corporate contract we're talking about. Okay? It's not about one particular ward or one particular street. After you evaluating all three wards, these are the streets we came up with. It's about making these streets safer.
Any questions? Councilwoman Noah.
Thank you, Corey. So, since you're starting on September the 18th in Ward 1, usually how long does the projects take? So it'll be a couple of years, you think? For the completion?
Actually, he had his
Okay.
hand before me.
Councilman Palmer.
We also had discussed during the ARP funding that we would do traffic calming measures such as vertical changes in pavement. Was that going to be planned with these overlays as well on the streets that it applies to speed bumps? Okay.
Councilwoman.
So I would just like to say, I'm gonna speak for Ms. Nelson, but I know she and I both are very excited, and I know when Ella and I were both councilwomen for Ward 1, we just want to say thank you because it's been a long time for our Ferguson neighborhoods in Ward 1 to get attention. So thank you very, very much.
Benwick is.
Yeah. All of this makes me very happy.
Yeah, also on the traffic calming, I know on Dade, there's, I believe 3 or 4 speed humps that'll be put in. And that's gonna be, try to be our new model on our streets to try to put speed humps in, even with the overlay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Councilman Ashby.
Yeah, just great progress. You're the most popular person in Ferguson right now. So we really appreciate it.
One last thing, Corey, can you tell them about the street sweeper and how we've already been using it, please?
Okay, well, the street sweeper has gone out 4 days a week. We're trying to do a water week. Been out every day since the week after we had after the training process. Out today. Right now we're in Ward 2. Ward 3.
Don't forget my neighborhood.
I won't.
Even though we don't need it. Councilwoman Noah.
Well, we need it in Ward 3 and we appreciate that. And so you're just gonna go down, take the street sweeper, drive it down every street, or is there a particular street on a particular day or? Okay. Okay.
We're starting the war. This is possible. I promise you we'll get every street in the war at some point.
I'm just asking. All right, thank you. People
But-
wanna know.
You know,
Councilwoman Lipka.
I would just say that when our neighbors and our community members see the street sweeper out there and they see things happening, feel free to grab your broom and do some work in your front yard too, because we need our citizens to be just as committed to this cleanup as they want the city to be. So.
Ouch. Any other questions? Thank you, Corey. You are doing a phenomenal job. We appreciate it. Thank you.
I'd like to call Chief Doyle up for his update on the police department.
I just like church. It's okay. Keep going. Keep going.
Mayor, members of the council, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm gonna give you the report for the police department.
It should be right there, but I'll.
I'm gonna try to go through this relatively quick because I know we have a special presentation shortly after this. So what you're looking at now is the staffing report. We have 30 sworn officers right now. Talk to you a little bit in a later slide about some potential staffing coming on. In regards to part one crime, again, looking at this chart, nothing really stands out other than we're down 37%. As far as murders and homicides here in the city, we're down 35% in regards to theft and larceny. In regards to part two crime, again, nothing really stands out. We talked previously about the trespassing issue that came from one individual early on in the year. Fraud is up 2%. Again, I'll talk a little bit briefly about that here in a second. As far as traffic citations, warnings, the 2-week comparison, as you can see, the previous 2 weeks, August 3rd through the 16th, we were down on that. That was partially due, we had the anniversary of the Michael Brown incident, so we had a lot of planning going on during that week, so enforcement was down during that time period. As far as year-to-date traffic citations, as you can see, 580 warnings, 1,100. So I'm sorry, 1,100. We got those numbers backwards. 1,100 citations issued. I'm sorry, and 580. Traffic citations, again, year-to-date comparison to last year. As you can see, this year we're significantly up as far as traffic enforcement. Failed a year, Gil, I want to throw this slide in there. And what this is telling us is that, so last year between January 1st and July 31st, these are vehicles that the police officers actually activated their lights and they try to pull over a car and the car wouldn't stop for whatever reason. So we had 49 of those last year, and year to date, we had 101. So we have 50% here where vehicles, for whatever reason, refuse to stop. The thing that's also important about this too is that this is not unique to the city of Ferguson. Retired from St. Louis County Police Department, we were in the thousands back in April as far as vehicles not willing to stop for long. So that is becoming an issue. Again, vehicle accidents, we're down 2 compared to this time last year. Also wanted to throw some internal affairs complaints in here. So last year, year to date, we had 2 external complaints. This year, we're up 3. As far as internal complaints, same thing. We had 2 this time last year, and we up 1 more this time this year. Use of force year to date, it's kind of a chart that kind of breaks down what our use of force looks like. As you can see, most of our use of force is mainly physical contact, and that can be something as simple as someone just an officer grabbing an individual's arm and escorting them to a car. Couple updates on our hiring. Officer Knight, I think he's here tonight. Yep, welcome back. He was a with us. He left. He told me he wanted to come back and work for me, so we got him back here. You know, he wanted to come back to the city of Ferguson. He really missed it here, so we hired him back. And since he's been back, he's been doing an outstanding job. We have 2 cadets in background right now. We have 2 other cadets in the process. We have another returning officer that used to work for us that also would like to come back. He's currently in our process. We have 3 dispatchers that are currently in our process, and we recently gave a conditional offer to a public information officer for the department. She has a PhD in mass communications. She's going to be excellent for the city. And if everything goes as planned with the cadets that we are hiring, come January, we should have 6 Ferguson recruits in the January class, which is outstanding for us. We had an open house this past weekend. I thank my staff for helping out and the residents for coming out. We had a good time. We did tours of the station. Some of the residents got an opportunity to shoot the taser and see what that looks like or feel like. And the fraud. So early on in the presentation, I talked about fraud. So one of the things that we're experiencing here in the city of Ferguson is that we noticed that we're getting an influx of checks that are being stolen out of the post office mailbox. And what these individuals are doing is that they're taking the checks and they're using a type of chemical to wash out the original information and then putting their own information in there and cashing it in there. So just keep an eye on those things. Our detective bureau is doing a follow-up with this. They're working with the postal inspectors to try to come to a resolution with this.
Mm.
And that's my presentation for this evening.
Any questions? Councilwoman Lipka.
So I was wondering, are we still hiring for dispatchers?
Depending on these three that we're hiring now, we should be good.
Oh, because I have somebody.
Apply.
All right, and then, the other thing I was gonna say, I did notice the post office box at Paul's Market has a new way to put mail in, so I do see some progress happening where you can't put your hand in there and pull it out again. Because I know when I went to the main post office on St. Louis Avenue, I got there one day and it was so full that things were falling out, and I was shoving it in there as best I could. But you could have pulled handfuls of stuff out.
Councilman Ashby.
Can we get a copy of the presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then what is the, so I heard a rumor that it was still taking us 6 months from when we first interviewed somebody to when we made a determination. And I thought you had shaved that down. How long is it taking us from when we first talked to somebody to get through the background checks, interviews, and then decide whether or not they're a candidate? That's fantastic. Amen. It was closer to 6 months, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Great progress.
Councilman Palmer.
In regards to the failure to yield issue we're having in fiscal year 22-23, we approved the purchase of Star Chase. Did we ever purchase that piece of hardware? No. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Are we going to?
We'll look into it.
Okay.
I'll get back to you. How's that? I'll get back to everyone.
Chasing people, if, is that what we talking about?
No, well, it's an object that will shoot off from the police car, correct?
Oh.
Go onto the car and stick onto the car.
So essentially what it does is keep us from chasing. So you can shoot this object. We can shoot this object onto a vehicle. It would actually tell us via GPS where the vehicle
Okay.
is at.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay, we move to our special presentation. Chief Hampton, would you like to introduce?
Yes, Mayor. Mayor and Council, tonight we're going to have two presentations. First one's going to be from Chief Doyle. They just recently did some promotionals. And Chief, Mayor, if you wouldn't mind coming down, we have the officers here that are being promoted and we're going to badge them tonight.
Okay.
Well, as you all are aware that, the city of Ferguson, we had a number of acting supervisors and as you may well know, no matter police department, or whatever industry that you're in, whenever you have people that are in acting positions, it doesn't provide stability. So, we had a promotional process over the past couple of months. Several people here tonight that participated, and did an outstanding job, and I'm here to recognize them tonight. And the first person I want to ask to come up is Sergeant Jay Patrick.
Eric. Eric. This lady, could you touch her? This lady. Will you? He just.
All right, now turn around so we get a picture from the side. The
But the vests come in handy.
All right, turn around. Oh, I'm doing this to everybody. I finally get to meet her kids. Hi, kids.
Congratulations.
Oh.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
No.
Hi.
This time, Max, we can talk. Real quick story about, Lieutenant Main office happened to be close to mine, so usually when we see me, we try to go the opposite. I dump a lot of stuff on them since I've been here. Lastly, before I conclude, take this opportunity to give my express my heart to the community, residents in Ferguson. These men and women, that you know, work on this part of the day in and day out, do what they can to try to keep you all safe. So I appreciate your continued support and continued support.
Mayor and council, I know that they're gonna go back to the police department right now, so the room will get pretty empty here shortly.
Yeah, that would be good. Chief, ask him to come back and get a group picture, please.
Hey, chief,
Up there.
chief,
Chief Doyle.
Could you please have all the officers who have been promoted to come back and get a group picture with you?
Right now, yeah. Oh, they're all here. You got more work. I'm for.
Bring your certificate with you. One of them is it.
Brittany, she's over there.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. You heard me.
This time and that been down. Okay. That was
All right.
okay. Council members, would you come and take a picture with the new officer?
Heck, yeah.
Promoted officers, council members, staff.
Now, we can talk about driving beautiful.
One, two, three. City manager. That side. You're fine. They brought the cake to the station, okay. Where's Dr. Alice? Aw, I don't know.
Boy would require us to pursue briefly. It's like, it's a net, but they're tired. Like you go up behind them and it wraps in their wheel.
And then I saw that. I saw that on Facebook.
It's the spike strips sometimes. They can be an issue, counting issue. But
I can feel the love in the air. I didn't know we were taking photos.
Okay, moving right along.
Okay. Mayor, at this time,
Yes. Tell them. No, they know. Yeah. Well, it's getting ready, getting back to the regular people. Let's get it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Alice Herndon, and I'd like to say good evening.
Whoa, 1 minute.
See, Dr. Alice, you see how they got.
it did work.
Yeah, it did.
It did work.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor Jones, to the council. My name is Dr. Alice Herndon, and I am part of the Ferguson Special Business District. With me this evening is Bridget Lewis, who is the FSBD president. Robbie is in the back, who is also a general member as well, and also Sherry Brown, who is part of our production team, and you'll get to know who she is. So Ferguson Street Fest is fastly approaching. As of September 22nd and 23rd, we will be having the Street Fest. Our subcommittee is new to organizing this particular Street Fest, but we are excited about the things that are going to be coming this coming year. We did not want to allow the Street Fest to not happen. So we started with the Street Fest committee right about June of this year. Normally it's done in January, but we were able to get a hold of it and begin to move forward. So with the Street Fest, one of the things that we had done, the Ferguson Special Business District, we were able to allocate monies that would allow us to have a production team to actually be a part of the planning for the Street Fest. As business owners, that's something that we can't do personally day to day. However, having a productions team would allow us to do that. It is led by Angela Beals, Doris Jones, Sherry Brown, and Jessica Anderson, who have really been instrumental in helping us pull this year's Street Fest together. As you know, the Street Fest is one of the largest outdoor annual festivals that we have in the Ferguson area. It's very diverse with its music, the food, the vendors, and we've had some really awesome musicians come in to be a part of this Street Fest over a decade. It's family fun, kid friendly. It also will feature like bounce houses and the bubble trucks, which has always been a fun activity annually each year. Some of the entertainment that we have scheduled for Friday, September 22nd is Alex Rich, who is a pop artist. He has over 5,000 followers. We selected him because of his followers, that he would bring people into the Ferguson area. One of the biggest things about bringing people into Ferguson is to let them know that we are Ferguson friendly. We're Ferguson diverse, and we want people to come in to see a positive light about what Ferguson is doing, right? We also have Fat Pocket, which is also. Oh, instead of Fat Pocket, okay, thank you. 'Cause
Sorry.
We have been negotiating with Fat Pocket. We have trophy mules. How many do they have?
So I'm not sure, but so one of the reasons they chose trophy mules in light of Fat Pocket is one, the budget, but also because they want to encourage more diversity in the music. And the trophy mules do like a rock and country, so that brings a little more diversity rather than the pop band. So
Okay, and on Saturday, we have Tish Period, and as you see, she has over 9,000 followers. And so-
wow, she was actually on The Voice season 14. So-
Yes.
And Alex Rich is also a DJ. So he'll be giving a lot of press coverage on that.
Free, you hear that word?
Yeah. We love that word.
Free. And then we have The Remedy, which is an R&B group that has over 2,000 followers. So we have a good diverse group of entertainment that's going to be with us both on Friday evening and Saturday. I wanted to mention that the Street Fest does begin Friday at 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. and Saturday from 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. So we actually work together as a group. We've worked with Dave Musgrave. We have also worked with police department, just the city manager, John Hampton. Thank you so much for all you have done to support us. And so this is the diagram that we have identified. So when we look at that stage, one of the things that I was listening to was having an area for children. And having that children's area immediately to the left of the stage allows parents that are going to be there, that's going to be enjoying the music, to also be able to see their children as well. And so it's really keeping you in that eye pocket versus having an area in the back where parents can't see those children. So we really thought about this very carefully, and the production team has done a fantastic job. We will also have something called a community table. So we have food vendors that will be with us, as well as some from downtown Ferguson, that will be part of the Festival of Foods. So we know different things have taken place this year, but we wanted to incorporate an opportunity to have the foods that are in Ferguson highlighted at this year's event. So at this community table, one of the things that people will be able to do is gather their food and then come back to this table together and partake of their meal as a community. And so then that way, it's kind of fun, you meet new people as you sit down and eat, you break bread with new people. And so we're really excited about everything that's happening this year. Vendor opportunities. We are still looking for vendors that can be a part of this year's Street Fest, and we've identified their tent rental, their vendor costs, and electricity for that. Any food vendor, they must have a temporary license in St. Louis County, and we do have some fun foods that we will be having this year. Sponsorships. So something that we've done that's been very unique and also successful for us this year is that of obtaining sponsorships. And so this is the list of sponsors that we have thus far. I have sponsorship packets if you would like to have one, or if you would like to share. clearing room. And, but it is an opportunity to get your business highlighted. And we've been doing a lot of social media, website, advertisement, and we do have radio, television opportunities that will be forthcoming. So I wanted to really identify how our sponsors have been supporting this year's Street Fest. We have gold sponsors, we have anywhere from, let me make sure I'm saying. We have anywhere from a platinum, a title sponsor. We also have platinum sponsorship of $5,000, gold sponsorship of $2,500, silver sponsorship of $1,500, bronze, that is $750, and then our VIP sponsors of $500. This year, Hollywood Entertainment will be our liquor sponsor, and so they will have all of that. Last year, I had the great and distinct pleasure of learning how to pour beer, and I did not want to do that again this year. I want somebody who is hired to do that. You do that. Now I don't want to do that anymore. I was spilling beer, had a whole lot of head. It wasn't a good thing. So I was fired from that position. But we do have our sponsors that are in place, and we're excited to say that thus far we have $11,000, $300 that has been raised through sponsorship. And Onyx Business and Print Center. Onyx Business and Print Center is one of the gold sponsors, and a lot of the printing that we have done this for has been in kind. And so I'm just happy to see how we are moving along, even at a short rate of speed where we started in June. Digital marketing again has been up, and our sponsorships for vendors as well as title sponsors and gold and silver sponsors as well as platinum. The deadline is September 28th.
September 28th or September
I'm
8th?
sorry, September 8th.
I was gonna say, you can be a sponsor even when the event's over.
But any questions that you might have, we wanted to make sure that we included the council, right? We jumped in feet first, got busy, talked with Linda, our council person, about what we were doing, heard her feedback, and we took that feedback and applied it. And I wanted to make sure that we shared with the council, with the community, that we are still having Street Fest. We're still moving forward. We're still gonna have a lot of fun, and it's gonna be a little different this year, but it's gonna be all right. Different is good.
Yes,
and I
it
wanted to
is.
answer any questions that you might have.
I think the only thing that makes it different is the fact that you guys have done a phenomenal job bringing in an outside force that does this full time. I think the difference is you made it bigger, better, and beautiful. So.
Anyone else? All righty. Thank you.
I have posters,
I've given mine away already.
and I also have some yard signs at the shop, so feel free to stop by the shop. I'm happy to see how yard signs. Thank you.
Thus, in our special presentation, we move to, we don't have any public hearing tonight. We move to our consent agenda.
She was trying to reach out to Octavia, but that's when the police were all moving about. I'm just saying, in the audience right over there. She's a gentleman in the plaid shirt. She wanted to speak to Rachel. So all I know is that when Octavia, she asked me, I said, if you're on the agenda, then.
She's not on the agenda.
Okay. Right there.
We're gonna keep moving. We move to our consent agenda. We can always go back for the city council meeting minutes. We have our regular meeting minutes for July the 25th, special meeting minutes for July the 25th. I
Mayor,
requested a motion and a second.
Mayor, may I make a correction on the meeting minutes? For July 25th?
Let me get finished.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it
Okay.
was before that.
I'm requesting a motion and a second.
So move Naquita Noah.
Are there any questions?
So on the meeting minutes where we have appointments. The motion was made by Councilwoman Noah and seconded by Councilman Ashby to appoint Lozelle Stiles to FSBD. Unanimous vote in favor taken. It was not unanimous. I voted no.
Please have the record to reflect that it was 6 yeses and 1 no.
Thank you, Mayor.
Any other questions? Are you ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. The city council meeting minutes pass.
Before we go too much further, I did hear the first from Noah, but I didn't catch the second person. Thanks. Okay.
We don't have any appointments tonight for boards and commission. At this time, we have requests for our annual liquor license renewal. Clerk Pittman, would you share the information on the people who are getting their liquor license renewed?
Two businesses that have completed the process are LA Juicy Seafood and Midwest Wine Bar.
I'm requesting a motion and a second for approval.
Linda Lipka.
Second, Blake Ashby.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. The liquor license are passed. We have a proclamation tonight, and it's for Mr. and Mrs. Norvin Nellie Tolliver Day, honoring Mr. and Mrs. Norvin Tolliver. They live in Ward 1 in Nesbitt, Newton. Be it known to all citizens and residents of the city of Ferguson, Missouri, that we gather here today to celebrate and honor a remarkable couple, Mr. Norvin Tolliver and Mrs. Nellie Tolliver. On this joyous occasion, we proudly recognize their extraordinary milestones that have significantly contributed to the fabric of our community. Whereas Mr. Tolliver, a cherished member of our community, is commemorating his 75th birthday. His remarkable milestone serves as a testament to his enduring spirit, wisdom, and countless positive impacts he has had on the lives of those around him. Through his dedication and commitment, Mr. Tolliver has touched the hearts of many, making Ferguson a better place for all. And whereas we also celebrate 41 years of residency in the city of Ferguson, during which Mr. and Mrs. Tolliver have wholeheartedly embraced our community, enriching it with their compassion, generosity, and unwavering support. Their loyalty to Ferguson has been a guiding light for others to follow, exemplifying the true essence of community spirit. And whereas we pay tribute to the 47 years of a blissful marriage shared by Mr. and Mrs. Tolliver, their union has been an inspiration to all, epitomizing love, devotion, and the power of togetherness. Their love story serves as a shining example of the beautiful relationships that can blossom within the boundaries of our great city. Now, therefore, I, Ella Jones, Mayor of the City of Ferguson, along with the City Council and the citizens of Ferguson, do hereby proclaim that September the 2nd, Mr. and Mrs. Tolliver Day. We commend and express our heartfelt gratitude to this exceptional couple for their profound contributions, dedicating a lifetime to making Ferguson a better stronger, and more united community. We urge all residents, families, and friends to join us celebrating the life of Mr. and Mrs. Tolliver for 41 years of residency and the incredible bond he shares with his beloved wife, Mrs. Tolliver. Their legacy will forever be etched in the history of our city, and their love and service will continue to inspire generations to come. Let's give them a round of a hand. Applause. We move to the next item on our agenda is our resolutions. We have resolution number 2023-31. Without objection, we're introduced by council members present. Hear none, Attorney Carey, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2023-31. A resolution selecting a vendor for the purchase of an air tow trailer, awarding the contract to said vendor and authorizing the city manager to execute the contract on behalf of the city.
Interim City Manager Hampton, could you please explain?
Yes, Mayor, at this time I bring Dave Musgrave up.
Mayor, City Council. This resolution is to purchase an air tow trailer. Basically, this is the trailer we use to haul the scissor lifts, move the up to downtown, and then also hauling pallets and large items to top our day-to-day business. Part of the CFP budget is to purchase.
No questions? A motion and a second for approval.
So motion, Blake Ashby.
Second, Laquita Noah.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Councilman Ashby,
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lipka,
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson, Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer.
Aye.
Resolution number 2023-31 passes. We move to resolution number 2023-32. Without objection, we're introduced with council members present. Hear none, Attorney Carey, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2023-32. A resolution selecting a contractor for the renovation of the band shell at January Wabash Park, awarding the contract to said contractor and authorizing the city manager to execute the contract on behalf of the city.
Interim City Manager.
Yeah, Mayor, Council, we noticed the wrong address on there. We will get that fixed before signing. And Dave Musgrave can answer any questions.
Good evening again, Mayor, City Council. This is to complete the work of the band shell. We've been over there recently. The 2 flower beds on either side, 2 walls are coming away. We dedicated some ARPA funds to take care of that work, and I'll give you some soft pointing on the work. Went out to bid within 3 weeks ago. The low bid is outlined here for $12,500, and that's the contract we selected for the work. Yes, ma'am.
Councilwoman Lipka.
What is the timeline on the project?
They said they could start within the next 4 weeks of the contract.
So did they say how long they'll take to do it?
Oh, they said it'd be.
Okay,
Yeah, we're also moving the electric from being low to high as well. So
Okay.
this will also help on the vandalism
Mm-hmm.
that we continually have there and no kid getting shot as well.
Okay. A motion and a second for approval.
so move Linda Lipka.
Second, Blake Ashby.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Lipka,
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson, Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer,
Aye.
Councilman Ashby,
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Mayor Jones.
Aye. Resolution number 2023-32 passes. We move to resolution number 2023-33. Without objection, we're introduced by council members present. Attorney Carey, please read the resolution.
Number 2023-33. A resolution selecting a contractor for the sewer abatement located at 9401 West Florissant Road, awarding the contract to said contractor and authorizing the city manager to execute the contract on behalf of the city.
Interim City Manager.
Yeah, Mayor, Council, again, Dave will be up to explain.
Good evening, Mayor, and City Council. This is part of the old car wash project on Ferguson. You'll recall we have an agreement with MSD where they're gonna, basically, pay this money after we pay, so we reimburse for this cost. We sent out to bid, we had to have MSD also sign off on the contract that's being awarded to Tom, bring it to you for secondary. And then they will complete the work, and then MSD will reimburse the cost. So that's where we're at in this project. We did only get one bid on this, that's the one we're going with, and MSD is okay with that.
Councilwoman Lipka.
Quick question, when MSD says they're gonna reimburse us, have you ever experienced this kind of situation with them before? And because MSD tells us a lot of stuff.
In writing.
Yeah, is it in writing and how long do you think?
Is it in writing?
It's in writing. I have not dealt with MSD on reimbursement, but from talking to other municipalities, it's anywhere.
Okay,
The goal is to get the same.
thank you.
Get it in writing. Okay. Any other question? Hear none. I'm requesting a motion and a second for approval.
So move, Naquita Noah.
Second thing.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer. Councilman Ashby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lipta,
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson.
Resolution number 2023-33 passes. We move to resolution number 2023-34. Without objection, we're introduced by council members present. Hear none. Attorney Carey, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2023-34. A scissor lift, awarding the contract to said vendor and authorizing the city manager to execute the contract on behalf of the city.
Interim City Manager Hampton.
Mayor, Council, again, I will have Dave Musgrave come up, but this is a tool that we will use throughout the city as well.
Good evening, Mayor, good evening, council. You read the memo. We did do some research on this project. There were two used options we looked at. Price difference just didn't make sense. Both of the units had used about half of their lifespan already. We purchased them for about $3,000 under the cost of the new. We think it makes more sense to buy the new lift and get the used out of it. We're just going with this one. It is coming off state bids, so we're going to bid this out because we already have the lowest price to buy.
And this will also go with the trailer, correct?
Correct.
Yes, Councilwoman Noah.
I'm sorry, I don't know if you said this or not. So does this mean we will have two of these? Just one? Okay.
Wow.
That's not nice.
A motion, I'm requesting a motion and a second for approval.
So moved, Heather Robinette.
Second, Linda Lipka.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lipta.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson, Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer, Councilman Ashby,
Resolution number 2023-34 passes. We move to resolution number 2023-35. Without objection, we're introduced by council members present. Hear none. Attorney Carey, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2023-35. A resolution selecting a vendor for the purchase of a Kawasaki mule, awarding the contract to said vendor and authorizing the city manager to execute the contract on behalf of the city.
Interim City Manager Hampton.
Mayor, Council, Dave Musgrave, again, will explain this.
Stay there.
Right.
Good evening, Mayor, good evening, City Council. We sent this project out to bid 2 weeks ago as well, at the same time with Banshell. Received one bid on this from St. Charles Motorsports. It is about $8,000 over what we had budgeted, so we do feel it's a good price to get units that we're gonna be using. So that's where we're at.
Dave, can you explain what the mule is going to be used for?
It's a forestry park, for our fields. It's also used for parades, all that stuff. So it's an all-purpose vehicle, similar to our Gator that had a crash.
Who will be authorized? I'm sorry, Mayor, man.
Councilwoman Lipka.
Sorry, I had to do it the right way. Who's gonna be authorized to drive it? Because I know in the past we've had some volunteers driving some of our stuff and
Current policy is that they have to be city employees.
Hear that?
Any other? Hear none. Clerk Pittman, I need a motion and a second for approval.
The motion, Blake Ashby.
Second, Laquita Noah.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Councilman Ashby,
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette, Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilman Lipka,
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson, Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer.
Resolution number 2023-35 passes. We move to resolution number 2023-36. Without objection, we're introduced by council members present. Hear none. Attorney Carey, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2023-2036. A resolution supporting the city of Ferguson, authorizing the city manager to enter into and execute a contract with E. Meyer Contracting, Inc. for the 2023-24 CDBG street improvements.
Interim City Manager Hampton.
Mayor and Council, Corey Gilbert was up earlier during the city manager report and reported on the CDBG. But the one thing we are going to correct is on, I believe it's Castro, instead of saying Bermuda, it will say city limits.
Okay. Any questions? Hear none. I'm requesting a motion in a second.
So moved, Heather Robinette.
Second, Blake Ashby.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Aye.
Lipka,
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson, Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer. Councilman Ashby.
Aye.
Resolution number 2023-36 passes. We move to resolution number 2023-37. Without objection, we're introduced by council members present. Hear none. Attorney Carey, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2023-37. A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a renewal agreement with Civic Plus for website hosting and support.
Mayor,
City Manager.
Mayor and Council, I will turn it over to Octavia since she handles most of our.
Okay.
So this is just the renewal agreement. This agreement is for 3 years. They are our current website providers, but this is just the renewal agreement for the next 3 years.
Questions? I requested a motion in a second.
So moved, Linda Lipka.
Second, Blake Ashby.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Lipka,
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson, Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer, Councilman Ashby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Mayor Jones.
Aye. Resolution number 2023-37 passes. We move to bills requiring the first reading. Bill number 7254. Without objection, we're introduced by council members present. Attorney Carey, could you read the bill by the title only?
Yes, ma'am. Bill number 7254. An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Ferguson, Missouri to execute the deed and acknowledge other documents in order for the real properties to be transferred to the city for city development and or beautification.
Interim City Manager.
Yes, Mayor, at this time I'll call Rachel St. Pierre.
Hello.
This is the second time we've seen this. I apologize that I wasn't here the time before. This is one of the applications for the adjacent side lot program for Michael Carnes. He lives at 29 Lake Newport, and the property next to him, 31 Lake Newport, is a very long sliver of land right next to his. Wide enough that when he mows, he just mows it anyways. So this property is on the post-third list, and we do have all of the drafts of the deeds, the reporter's cover page, the bill, and the legal description that go along with this process. So what you can expect to hear in the upcoming months is that we've gone to the title company and got a new deed completed. We've had the deed signed by the new owner who will hopefully be Member Farms. We've taken it to the county to get it recorded, and then we finalize the deed paperwork and give it the title and final package. And that
Thank-
won't take
Okay, thank you. No action is taken at this time.
Mayor, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, Mayor, I was going to suggest tabling the next two items, 7255 and 7256.
We were the ones that were supposed to do that.
All right, I'm sorry. I got to the meeting late, I apologize. But
There's no discussion on a first reading, correct?
None.
Okay,
So just table it.
I got it.
Okay, make a motion.
Oh, so moved. Linda Lipka.
Second favorite.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Eyes have it. We would table bill numbers 7255 and 7256. We move to bill number 7260.
Yeah, can I just clarify really quickly? For 55 and 56, we're postponing it indefinitely, is that correct?
Yes. Did you say indefinitely? Okay, he said it. Okay. Bill number 7260. Without objection, we're introduced by council members present. Hear none. Attorney Carey, could you please read the bill by title only?
Yes, ma'am. Bill number 7260. An ordinance of the city of Ferguson, Missouri, authorizing the city of Ferguson to participate in the Missouri Firefighters Critical Illness Trust and Pool, and further authorizing the mayor to execute such documents as may be necessary for the city's participation therein.
Interim City Manager Hampton.
Mayor and council, currently cancer is the number one killer. And this is something that a lot of states are doing. And Missouri State has now to pick this up, and we'd like to join.
Thank you. No action is taken at this time. We move to the next item on our agenda, bills requiring second reading. Bill number 7253. I'm requesting a motion in a second to read the bill a second time and place it upon its passage.
So move, Naquita Noah.
second, Blake Ashby.
Attorney Carey, could you please read the bill?
Yes, ma'am. Bill number 7253. An ordinance approving the lot consolidation of property located at 10871 and 10835 New Halls Ferry Road, being a consolidation of tracts of land in US Survey 2470 Township 47 North, Range 7 East, Ferguson, St. Louis, St. Louis County, Missouri, within the city of Ferguson, Missouri.
Clerk Pittman?
Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer.
Aye.
Councilman Ashby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lipka,
Aye.
and Councilwoman Nelson.
Just before we pass this bill, interim city manager, do you have anything you would like to share? Okay. Bill number 7253 passes. We move to bill number 7257. I'm requesting a motion in a second to read the bill a second time and place it upon its passage.
So move, Naquita Noah.
Second, Blake Ashby.
Attorney Carey, could you please read the bill?
Yes, ma'am. Bill number 7257. An ordinance of the city of Ferguson, Missouri, granting a special use permit to George Sy for the purpose of operating a child care facility at 10716 New Halls Ferry Road, subject to the conditions, restrictions, and requirements set forth herein.
Interim city manager.
Mayor and council, at this time, I have the lady that is going to be in charge of the child care facility. If you'd like to come up and introduce herself to council.
Okay, great. Good evening.
Want to introduce myself and, just make myself present. I missed the first one, but I just want to make sure that everybody knows that I'm president, that I'm putting forth a lot of effort into this daycare, development center. Well, this was
This came to me, it's a grant from the state of Missouri. So this is a grant funded by the state of Missouri, it was an innovation grant, through Debbie. I am a current owner of electronic home detention company in St. Louis County. I also am a founder of Saving Our Children, which is the summer food program in CFACP. I fed the football team at McCord North, and for breaking up the fight, giving slaves, and YMCA. So I am very active in my community, and I plan to be very active in Ferguson. And,
Thanks for coming. Thank you. At this time, I request a roll call.
Councilwoman Noah,
aye.
Councilman Palmer,
Aye.
Councilman Ashby,
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson.
Bill number 7257 passage. We move to bill number 7258. I'm requesting a motion in a second to read the bill a second time and place it upon its passage.
So moved, Linda Rica.
Attorney Carey, could you please read the bill?
Yes, ma'am. Bill number 7258. An ordinance of the city of Ferguson, Missouri vacating an unimproved right-of-way of Thatcher Street between 1130 North Elizabeth Avenue and 1120 North Elizabeth Avenue, subject to the conditions, restrictions, and requirements set forth herein.
Okay, at this time, interim city manager would like to share.
Yeah, Mayor Council, on this is more of a paper street, that's never been developed. It's basically there, but not there. So, that's all I have. It's a magic trick. We got a couple of streets like that.
Okay,
That, we don't have to clean those up.
okay, at this time, Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson,
Aye.
Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer, Councilman Ashby,
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Mayor Jones.
Aye. Bill number 7258 passes. We move to bill number 7259. At this time, I request a motion in a second to read the bill a second time and place it upon its passage.
So moved, Blake Ashby.
Second, Fabian.
Attorney Carey, could you please read the bill?
Yes, ma'am. Bill number 7259. An ordinance of the city of Ferguson, Missouri affirming its method of disclosing potential conflicts of interest and substantial interests.
Councilwoman Lipka.
So Apollo Carey, could you possibly give us some clarification? I mean, what has changed from what's in here to what we currently have? Has anything changed? What, I read it, I couldn't find any major changes. What am I missing?
Yeah, so I don't think that anything's really substantially changed, and I'm not quite sure why we,
Have it on the agenda?
yeah.
It's by law. Clerk Pittman.
By law, we're required to readopt it. So there have not been any changes to it. But by law, we are required to readopt it.
The only thing that jumped out at me was the fact that I thought we did this every year, or we do this periodically.
Yes, so we're required to do it every other year,
Okay,
but in practice, you do it every year. So in the event that maybe I'm sick or something happens and we can't get it done, we don't have a quorum, anything could happen and you don't get it done. So you don't want to, you don't want it to be in default.
okay. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't something I read it twice. I was like, what am I missing? And the only thing that jumped out at me was the fact that it's
Yeah,
something
so
we do.
I did not
So
make.
it's
any changes.
housekeeping.
Yeah, I did not make
Okay.
any changes to it.
Okay, thank you.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
And Ashby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Mayor Jones,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lipka,
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson. Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilman Palmer.
Aye.
Bill number 7259 passes. At this time, we will move to any unfinished business.
Mayor, I have unfinished business.
Councilwoman Noah.
Respectfully, this is in regards to the ARPA funding allocation for the Ferguson Neighborhood Improvement Program. Just wanted to ask if there will be an update coming soon since we're in a new fiscal year. I have a few other questions. To date, how many residents have utilized the matching home exterior grant? Can residents apply for the home exterior matching grant again, being that we are in the 23-24 fiscal year? And what new home improvement programs can owner occupied homeowners look forward to in this fiscal year?
City Manager,
Yeah, Mayor Council. We will have Larry Robinette come up. I believe he is still the president. I will have him come up and give a presentation, and just an update. But I believe in when he came up for the first time for his presentation, he did say that you'd be able to, reapply for the grants.
haven't got to it yet. Okay. Any other unfinished business?
So also Octavia reminded me that the applications are also on our website as well.
Okay. We move to new business. Any new business? Hear none, we move to miscellaneous. Let's start with Councilwoman Noah.
Thank you, Mayor. I just would like to say thank you to all of Ferguson staff. We appreciate your hard work. Just thank you. And also congrats to the Ferguson FPD on their promotions. Thank you for your service. The residents on Ellison, we hear you. Your concerns are not ignored. I apologize. It is, taking time, as we all know, as Rachel stated earlier, we are trying to do better. It's not being ignored. Just know that. Boards and commissions, we need people on the Ferguson boards and commissions. We need willing and qualified residents on the boards and commissions. Other than that, everyone be safe and thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Noah. Councilman Palmer,
I have nothing tonight. Thank you.
Councilman Ashby,
Yeah, I would like to echo what Councilwoman Noah said. Really, the staff's been doing a great job. Great leadership. It's nice to see so many things working at one time. And one of the things that we've got to put on our list is kind of a dangerous or a bad landlord's task force. Because, the property you mentioned, we've got 90 or 100 of those in the city. There's one right around the corner from me. We've got a beautiful neighborhood, and around the corner, there's a house that hadn't been occupied for 5 years. Tree fell on it. We've got to figure out a way to put pressure on the out-of-town landlords that are letting their homes decay. So that really is our next goal for this upcoming year, is to figure out how to put more pressure on landlords to keep them, keep their properties up to speed.
thank you, Councilman Ashby. Councilwoman Robinette.
You're just gonna make one up. It's been one of those days, that's fine. Yes, I would also like to congratulate the promotions in the police department. They are well-deserved, and I appreciate the hard work that Chief Doyle has been. He's come in and done some great work and is trying to be as transparent as possible. And I feel like citizens are noticing. So I appreciate that. Also, it's back to school time. So to all the kiddos, good luck. To all the teachers and administration, more luck. And especially since it's so hot, make sure that animals are being brought inside. And, if you have an extra water bottle and somebody's outside that's unhoused, feel free to help someone out. Just look out for each other.
Thank you, Councilwoman Robinette. Councilwoman Lipka.
So I also was going to touch on the school year. Let's all be aware that our kids are out there walking, going home, going to the bus stops. So please slow down. Please drive like you care about these kids, because we all do. So we want to welcome them into a new school year, and also the teachers. I read something the other day that I thought was really awesome. It says, an artist goes to art school and becomes a grand artist. A musician goes to music school and becomes a grand musician. A builder goes to architect school, becomes an amazing architect, but all of them were started with a teacher. So please appreciate your teachers. Also want to say congratulations to our police department. It is really awesome to see these people moving into positions that they've well deserved for a very long time. Also, I can't begin to tell you how happy I am for FSBD and the excitement that they are generating for Street Fest. This is going to be a really awesome event this year. I hope everybody can make it. So please do not miss it. We have the following week of Street Fest. You also have some community development meetings that are coming up. So on the 28th of August at 6 o'clock here at Church Street, there's going to be a community development meeting discussing the West Florissant development projects. And then also on the 27th at 6 p.m. also here is a community development meeting discussing the Hearn Avenue development. So those are all things that may be of interest to some of you. And then finally, I would like to say that I'm going to have a personal opinion about one of our public comments today. I think that when you have a person in your community that has been here their whole life, has worked their ass off, and has invested all of their private funds and have had the success of being able to build their business, they should not be bastardized because they have been a very big part of this community. So when one of our council members happens to be that person and has the opportunity to develop housing and businesses to grow our community, I don't think we should be tearing them apart. So that is my opinion and mine alone.
Anything else, Councilwoman Lipka?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilwoman Lipka. Councilwoman Nelson. Stop cussing.
It's a word in the dictionary.
I just wanted to congratulate Chief Doyle and the Ferguson Police Department, congratulate them on the promotions today, and also for a great open house on Saturday that was well attended and really good time and people coming out. It was really good to see the community come out and support.
How many snow cones did you eat?
I only had 2. You had 4.
They ran out of hot dogs. They fell out.
But it was a good time, and so it was good to see the community come out.
Okay. Thank you, Councilwoman Nelson. Interim City Manager, can you like to share?
I do. Mayor, Council, first off, I'd like to start off with Versailles Apartments. We'll have a better understanding tomorrow of where Fannie Mae is, and we are still holding our hearing on the 24th at 4 o'clock. That will be a Zoom because they are out of town. They will not be here. They are also working, trying to get a security company that will be there 24/7. That's it all on Versailles. The other thing I want to talk about a little bit is the homelessness that we're starting to see more and more of, and I believe it is coming from the Metro bus location. I think we have to try to figure out a way of working with Metro Bus because it's not just the homelessness, it's the soliciting and the gathering behind businesses that we're starting to see some of the vandalism. We're starting to see some of the break-ins, and we're actually hearing some of the businesses saying, you know, is this for me? And Ms. Nelson sees it firsthand. So we have to do something about that. And I just want to put that all on your radar. That's all I have.
Thank you, Attorney Apollo.
Are we letting the residents of Versailles know about their final date, or they just been given?
So right now they're with the utilities are still on. So currently there is no date that they have to be out. Like I said, we're working with Fannie Mae, and they're the receiver of the property. And we'll know more about what's happening tomorrow morning. And I believe, what time's the meeting? Tomorrow? Okay, so we'll meet tomorrow, and then I'll send out an email update on that. And so my understanding right now, no one else has to leave. The management team that was there from Everrest they are also the management team that Fannie Mae has recontracted.
Is that a good thing?
It is good.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just a management team. So if you own property in Ferguson, you're a landlord, you have to have within 30 miles have a management team. And that's something that Rachel and myself have been talking about getting a landlord organization up and running. So maybe they can also help police themselves.
Oh, right.
date that they had to leave, but that's now changed.
That has changed because the utilities are on. The only reason they were gonna be not evicted, but removed from the property is because of sanitary and health issues. We also have cleaned up the property. The city of Ferguson's cleaned it up. Fannie Mae's reimbursing us for all those charges.
That's better news.
Councilwoman Noah.
The one, I'm sorry, but the one project that they are saying that could potentially come in is 55 and older, because that used to be 55 and older. And I don't know when it changed, but it just changed on, I think, on its own. And so I know there's talks about this going back to 55 and older, which would help with the security, because, you know, the older people, they won't leave the doors open to let anybody in the building. So that was one of the biggest problems at Versailles is security. So.
Councilwoman Noah.
Well, you know, I apologize. My question is not regarding that. I had a comment regarding the unfinished business. Just to clarify, not physical, everyone. I wasn't saying physical, just in case anyone misinterpreted what I was stating, okay? Because I've been receiving text messages. I just want to make sure everything is correct on your, did you understand what I stated earlier in my unfinished business?
Not now, if you want to clarify what it is.
Well, I'm just clarifying to everyone. I was not stating physical, PHY. Fiscal, 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 not physical, fiscal,
Fiscal, the fiscal year.
FISCAL. So there's no
FISCAL.
confusion.
Yeah,
Okay.
fiscal year.
I apologize, and I didn't mean to cut you off, Chief Hampton. I do apologize. I just wanted to be clear.
Okay.
One last thing I have is this weekend, we have a cleanup for Ward 3. Is any yard waste that is from the storms. And I think we have 13, 14 properties that the city will go by and pick it up. This will probably, because we removed the yard waste and the dump from the back, because it was basically we were being taken advantage of. And so we tried to do a nice thing. It just didn't work out. That doesn't mean to say we can't figure out a new way of coming back to doing it, because I do think that also stops some of the dumping in some of our vacant lots.
Mhm.
So this weekend, and Rachel, you can make sure it's already out on the web, correct?
On Facebook and registered to vote. It will close probably Thursday, but I would have to get for you now.
And with that, we also are looking for residents in Ward 3, Ward 2, Ward 1 that would like to volunteer to help as well. You know, it takes a toll on staff, always being the ones that are there picking it up. And that goes for as trash as well. We keep going back to the same residents or the same area to pick up. You know, we need help from the residents in those areas as well.
So true.
Thank you.
Ms. Pittman, did I call you?
Not yet.
Okay, Clerk Pittman.
Okay. Well, sadly, the summer is almost over, and so is our summer meeting schedule. So we'll be back to our regular meetings, beginning September. So that means the next meeting will be September the 12th. As a reminder, the annual Boards and Commissions banquet is scheduled for September 21st. So invitations are going out. So all of our board and commission members should be receiving them if they have not already. And then lastly, well, second to last, Human Rights Commission is, again this year, doing the annual Advocate of the Year Award. So nomination forms are out there now. The deadline for acceptance is September the 30th. And we are also gearing up for the annual open mic event. So you can be looking for that too. And that's normally around December the 10th, and that's for human rights. But that's all I have.
Thank you, Clerk Pittman. You're doing a phenomenal job, and we truly appreciate you. Okay, that's for the city manager too. Okay. Attorney Carey, you have anything?
Just really proud of FPD.
Yeah.
It's really good to see what's happening there. Chief Doyle was a really good hire. You guys should be proud of yourself on that, especially you. So, just from being here from 2016 and when we first started the consent decree and started seeing where we are now, I feel really good about FPD right now. Probably the best that I have felt about FPD since we started. So that's my comment.
Thank you. Anyone else? I just would like to say we are excited about the police department and the promotion and the officers who left and they're returning, and our very special officer. I'm not going to say anything about them because they talk about it. But anyway, the open house was phenomenal. It was really good. The snow cones, I went for the snow cones. I did. So, but it was good to see so many officers out and their families and the children. They had an opportunity to take a tour of the police station. A lot of people came out, didn't know that we had a gun range in the basement of the police department. A lot of people had an opportunity to shoot the tasers. So it was a fun day for everyone. And I just would like to say thank you to the city of Ferguson, the volunteers, the residents, the YMCA for Unity Weekend. It was the 9th annual Unity Weekend. We had food, fun, backpacks, everything. It was phenomenal. We're looking forward to the 10th year. So at this time, I will announce that we will not have a closed session. Thanks for reminding me. We have a long day tomorrow. Thank you, but we are postponed the closed session to another time. At this time, I'm gonna request a motion in a second to adjourn the meeting.
Naquita Noah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Have a good night. Meeting adjourned.